At my last show, I actually forgot the second verse to a new song, and I loved that moment because the audience was so like, you got this, like, it's all good. And it just kind of like, it brings that human aspect to the show, you know, like at the end of the day, artists are humans. And it was such a moment of like, this is why I do music, because the fans are so encouraging, and they were like, no, it's okay, like we like keep going, like woo, because on stage it's scary, you have all these big eyeballs looking at you, and you're just like, okay, like I hope you guys like this one. Well, I'm Lexi Cline. I'm from Denver, Colorado. I'm currently based in LA, but I spent a couple years in Nashville starting off my music career. I make very poppy, almost with a country twang type indie singer-songwriter style music, and all of my music comes from like a very storytelling place. And I am currently in the midst of releasing my sophomore EP, which actually will be out in August next month, so I'm very excited. Yeah, I think I did. There was a moment where I actually kind of wanted to be a doctor, but that only lasted for a smidge of time because I basically, after high school, went to Colorado State University for 1 year, and I enrolled in like the pre-health side of things. But even like after class, like I would go back to my dorm room and like write songs, or I would like go to the open mic nights around Fort Collins in Colorado, and just like any opportunity that I could to sing, that's where I wanted to be. And I eventually just like told my parents, I was like, I really want to move out to Nashville and just like really try out doing music for a career. And so they were really supportive and on board. And so yeah, I just kind of always knew. Honestly, nobody in my family had done music for a career previously. So for me, it kind of stemmed from just my ability to sing and then my ability to write. And therefore I was just kind of able to start making music myself. But I would say like my references were Carrie Underwood and like super country music when I first started, because that's like all I listened to in high school. And so I kind of learned how to sing by Carrie Underwood because I would be like in my basement and it would be like 8 p.m. after I got my homework done, and I would just be like singing a Carrie Underwood song on my like mic and amp that I had. So I don't know, it just was something that I've always wanted to do, but there's not really anybody like before me in my family that has like kind of inspired me to do this. Like it was just kind of me just wanting to try it out. Yeah, so when I first started, like I said, Carrie Underwood being my like country girly vibe, like I really wanted to aim for. And when I first moved to Nashville, I released a country like 2-song EP, like just my first ever release. I eventually ended up getting in the studio with a pop producer that was based in Nashville after kind of going to some songwriting events and seeing like, oh, Nashville had like a pop scene, and I think I fit really nicely there. And I had a passion for writing a little bit more of like an upbeat sound. So I naturally started to make pop music a little bit, but I've always had a country twang. So like no matter what I've done, my music can be singer-songwriter poppy, but I still feel like it can fall under a country category for sure. For me, I would say it's more like I come up with the story that I want to tell, and I've developed my songwriting ability, I feel like, more so in the past 2 to 3 years than ever before, because I've started to kind of have the ability to like take my own stories and display them lyrically. But when I first started, like my go-to was I would kind of come up with the story and then I would take it, you know, to someone that I trusted that would be able to write this with me. So I kind of learned how to be a songwriter. So I wanted to tell like certain stories, and I would like come up with the title and stuff like that. And then I would take it to a songwriter that I knew out there, and they would just like help me write the song. So I was like, that's kind of how I first started. And then we would like take the song into the studio and record it, and therefore like eventually be released. I like really love this like song titles. I think they're really fun and can be really quirky, and so like you'll kind of notice a lot of my song titles just have like a very unique, I don't know, flair to them. Like I have a song title called Orange Juice, and I have a song title that when I first started, like Martinis in the Clouds, or like my most like recent one song title that I love is Prom Queen. So yeah. My parents wanted me to finish my degree, so I ended up transferring from CSU it was basically online for 1 year through CSU, and I was like a psychology major at the time, so I was like dissecting, and I was pre-health, so I was like dissecting like pig kidneys and like lamb hearts. Like I was actually like staying at a host home in Nashville. That's like another fun story, but I was like dissecting all of these like science. I was having like a science experiment like in my kitchen, and then like after school, which was like online, I would just like go to the nearest writers round and like sing. So eventually what happened is I really wanted to be like at school there so I could make friends in Nashville, because I was kind of lonely, and I was like, it's really fun having like music friends, but I kind of want friends that want to go to the movies with me, or like want to go grab like sushi or something like that. And so I ended up transferring to a school in Nashville and changed my major to film, and then eventually I graduated and wanted to move to LA with one of my friends, and my boyfriend is also out here, so it's just like the transition like made sense. But yeah, I do love and miss Nashville very much. Totally. I'm honestly all of the above. Like Nashville's a great place. It was a great place for me personally to start my career, because I learned how to be a songwriter and like how it all works and how the process works, and like released for my first time. And then when moving to LA, I kind of felt like I had a foundation and I knew more so what I was doing. So out here, I kind of feel like I was able to, I don't know, like reach a new level in my music and start working with producers out here and start performing more often, like actually selling tickets to my shows and stuff like that. So both Nashville and LA are really amazing places. I think LA is great being an artist and wanting to be on stage and like in sessions and stuff, but I think Nashville is also a great place for all of that, but a really great place to be a songwriter. So yeah, they're both amazing. I don't know. Definitely. So my first EP release is, I believe, a 5-song EP. And each song that dropped on that EP just like meant it came from such a vulnerable place, like in my heart, and like our all true stories. My favorite on that EP is A Few Years More, because it's about like surviving your mid-20s and just feeling like you have no idea what you're doing. And so that's kind of like what the track is about, and therefore kind of wrapped the entire EP title in being The Dreaming Has Gotten Hard. Just because like as I've gotten older and as I've become more of an adult and like taken on more adult responsibilities, like yeah, like the dream does get hard. Like it's hard to continue pursuing just realistically, but I love it so much, and I hope that other people can relate to that aspect of the EP and just continuing to pursue it even though it can be hard. And then we transitioned into this current EP, and yeah, Pretend is a lot of these. So I actually had a show like 2 weeks ago, and I was on stage and I was singing all of the songs off these past 2 EPs, and every song that I announced, I was like, oh, another Heartbreak song. And then somebody in the audience was like, you write a lot about heartbreak? And I was like, yeah, I guess I do. And I'm in a happy relationship, but heartbreak is, so relatable and so touching to people and so moving. And so therefore, like, I have experienced heartbreak, and I'm able to like take stories from my friends and create heartbreak songs. And so a lot of what I love to write is about just coming from a very vulnerable place in the storytelling aspect of what happened to me, what happened to my friends around me, my family, things like that. And yeah, this EP title is going to be called I Still Remember, with Heartbreak on my sleeve, dropping on July 12th. Totally different. Like they're totally different things, because even in the studio for me, and it's my song and I've heard the demo a million times, and I go into the studio to record like our final vocal take, you do it a couple times. Like it takes a couple times to warm up, takes a couple times to get into the emotion and the feel of it, and you have like the ability to kind of take all the time you need. Whereas like when you're on stage, there's just that like vulnerable aspect of, singing the lyrics for the first time for some of these songs at this last show, and delivering them to the audience, and just kind of, you have this anticipation about what they're going to think, or if they're going to like it, or are they going to find it catchy, or are they going to be interested in hearing more, or whatever. And so they're totally different things. But I honestly can say that my favorite part about being an artist is being on stage and performing. So even if it's like the first time I've ever performed a song, like it's still right where I want to be. I still want to go for it and see if the audience likes it. At my last show, I actually like forgot the second verse to a new song, and I loved that moment because the audience was so like, you got this, like it's all good. And it just kind of it brings that human aspect to the show, you know, like at the end of the day, artists are humans. Like we get up and we perform and we make mistakes, and it was such a moment of like, this is why I do music, because the fans are so amazing and they are so encouraging, and they were like, no, it's okay, like we like keep going, like woo, whatever they're saying. And it's like, because on stage it's scary, you have all these big eyeballs looking at you, and you're just like, okay, like I hope you guys like this one. I'm Lexi Cline, and you can find me on any social media platform at Lexi Cline Music. This current EP will be dropping in August, so next month, and the next single on this EP, which I guess we're rolling out as a waterfall EP, is going to be dropping on July 12th, and the title of it is called Heartbreak on my sleeve. And I'm just calling it the first ever Heartbreak song of the summer, so definitely check it out.